You're in the process of filling a vacancy at one of your rental units. You've had a ton of showings, received a ton of applications, and now it's time to process and vet them all. If this sounds familiar, then listen up, seriously, because this video is for you.
Well, there are many other areas of the tenant application that are very important. We think the most important part are the reference checks.
What's up, guys? Kyle and Lauren here from Rentals to Wealth, and we're going to share with you our must-ask landlord reference check questions when screening a potential tenant.
If you're ready to learn, lock it in by hitting that like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos.
When you receive an application from a potential tenant, of course you want to look at the credit check and background check results, their income and employment history, but we think the most telling and the most important part of the tenant screening process are the reference checks.
When you're buying something online, don't you check the reviews first? This is kind of like that. Contacting past landlords gives you an opportunity to hear about their first-hand experience with the tenant and gain some valuable insight that may not be apparent in the rest of the application.
Alright, so we know reference checks are important, but contacting past landlords and asking the right questions is an art in and of itself. Current landlords of bad tenants might be giving a glowing reference of their tenants just so they can get that tenant out and somewhere else.
There are also some landlords who refuse to give references for fear of being sued. And then there are the fake landlords.
I love them.
No, we don't.
Some applicants will actually have a friend or family member pose as a previous landlord. One way to find out if the person you're calling is actually a landlord is to first call and ask if they have any vacancies available in any of the units that they manage. A real landlord will casually answer the question, but
A real landlord?
I know. A real landlord will casually, I don't know why I can't say landlord.
A real landlord.
A real landlord will casually answer the question, but a fake landlord will be thrown off and fumble with the words, and it's actually pretty hilarious.
Another way to check is to simply ask the landlord to verify the rental specifics of their alleged previous tenant. So things like address, lease term, and rental amount. A friend posing as a landlord won't have this information. Again, hilarious.
All right, we got the right person on the phone. First, explain who you are and that you're calling with some reference check questions. Then ask if they have a moment to talk. Make sure to ask a consistent set of questions during every reference check to stay on the right side of fair housing laws.
Then you can start with a list of questions. The first few are to verify information to see if the tenant shared any false information that could raise red flags and about payment. For example, did the tenant stay for the stated period of time? What was the monthly rent? Did the tenant pay in full each month? Did the tenant pay rent on time each month?
Then you can ask questions like, did anyone else live with the tenant? Were there any pets? Did the tenants receive any legal notices or lease violations, such as late rent, noise complaints, etc.?
These answers are very telling of how the new tenant is going to treat your property.
Then you can close out with questions like, was the home maintained in good condition? Did the tenant receive their entire security deposit after vacating? And our personal favorite, would you rent to that tenant again?
The answers to these questions will tell you a lot about your applicant, and if you hear anything strange, you gotta make sure you ask follow-up questions as well.
Before hanging up, always give the previous landlord the opportunity to share any additional information they think would be useful. Also, when getting references, try to get at least 2 so you can compare and check for consistencies. Also, super quick tip, save these past landlord numbers for when you're searching for your next property. They may be looking to unload properties from their portfolio.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Do you typically call for reference checks, or do you think that's too much work?
Now, not all applicants will actually have rental references. This is usually due to their age or prior homeowners who are downsizing. So in this situation, you have a few options.
The first is to decline their application because they don't meet your qualification standards. The second is to accept them without references, assuming that everything else on their application was stellar.
The third option is to require a co-signer to help mitigate your risk. And the fourth option is to require an additional security deposit if that's allowed by your state laws.
So in this video, we covered our must-ask landlord reference questions. And you could add a few more, you could take some out, but just remember you need to be consistent and ask the same questions for each applicant. So what questions do you guys ask? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you want to follow along with our investing journey, head on over to our YouTube channel, Rentals to Wealth. We'd love to have you with us. Thanks for watching, guys.